So I finally started on the chaos at the back of the new plot, all those brambles and all the bushes underneath. So by using my trusty hedge clippers, it's made easy work of it. Let me show you what's happened so far. So as you can see, it's at ground level now, and I mean, it's made hell of a difference. I've still got to cut out the fence there and cut all those brambles back, but that'll be the next job. But we're getting closer to this shed now. But as you can see, most of it's down. There is a buddleia here. Now a lot of people might hate buddleias, but the butterflies love them. On allotment plots, they certainly avoid them a bit because they think it attracts the butterflies in. But I like having a buddleia because I think I'd rather the butterflies on there than all over my crops. So I think I'm going to repot it and put it either here or over on the other plot. So we shall see. So yeah, now I've got this horrible task of digging out a good 14 foot by, I'd say 24 foot or something area. And I mean, I found some bindweed. There is plenty of brambles and raspberry canes all come through here. So it's going to be a bit of a task, and even for the next year or so after, I'm sure I'm going to keep getting canes coming up everywhere. So yeah, I need to figure out what I'm going to do next in this area, but there definitely needs to be put some beds down. So a lot of work needs to go into this. I also want to plant out a pile of alliums today because the bed next to the carrot bin is all been mulched and ready for alliums, because I need the space in there to put all the seedlings in. But yeah, well, that'll be for later on. And also I want to do a pile of sowing to get most of the spring and summer flowers all then sown. So yeah, jobs. But it's a glorious day, and it's almost spring, a few days now. But I mean, all the little daffodils are out now, the tete-a-tetes, so they're all coming out, and also the larger ones are now starting to show an appearance. The onion bed, I've hoed this, but I think I need to hoe it again. I can see a pile of weeds coming up through here. The garlics are looking fantastic. Now I have got these garlics here that were in a module tray, a very deep module tray. I'm going to plant them, I think, in the gaps that I've got in this bed, and then the remainder of them then I'm going to find somewhere for them. But as you've seen last video, these are both being mulched now. I need to do that one, so I'm going to take out the remaining sprouts today, leave the purple sprouting broccoli in for another month or so I can get a couple of harvests off them. But yeah, we're getting there. Now this area looks like an absolute tip, but most of this is timber and materials that I need for at the back of here. So for instance, this picket fence will either be going down here or around this area, because I want to have a separate area at the back after I've done a couple of beds here. And then also the bark will be going down there. This plastic I want to try and roll up and keep, because I might want to use it just to use as frost protection. But yeah, and there's a few bags here as well that need to go to the tip. But I'm hoping in the next 2 days all of this will be cleared away, and this part at least will be, you know, in a nice orderly fashion. Well, I've done quite a bit today. I've done 1/3 of that mess. I've also flattened everything to the ground, started taking a bit of the shed down as well, the front, and I've also unravelled all the brambles that were underneath, was on that cattle fence that was actually, you know, dividing the plots. But it's looking all right. So we've still got a pile of chicken wire here, which I'm actually going to take to the tip. I mean, look at all the brambles. I mean, there's a whole bag of bindweed here, some more brambles, but I've dug this far down So at least this is 1/3 done. So I've got 2/3 to go, and the cattle fencing is all rolled up nice. But we're getting there. We're getting there. I've started digging down now, down the side as well, to make sure that none of those big massive brambles come back. But progress has been made. And I know it probably doesn't look like much, but I assure you, if anyone's dug over a clay plot, this is back-breaking stuff. But I mean, it's taking shape now. I'm pleased with it. I mean, once I've flattened it all down, it's made a difference of how much space I've actually got here. So my plan is, I think what I'm going to do is, the plan was originally to put raised beds all through here, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dig it all over again, then mulch on the top with some compost and bark passing between in rows, and use it like that for this year. And then in the autumn, if I notice there's more raspberry canes coming up through or bindweed, I can dig over again in the autumn, and then next year I can then, you know, sculpt this out how I want it. But for now, I think it'd be sensible to just use it as it is for this year and use a no dig method. But I think that if I put all those sides on and whatnot, it's just going to be things I might have to lift off later on in the season. So that's the plan. So next I want to start planting out some of the alliums, because I need that floating shelf in the middle of the polytunnel. Now I've got so many here from Silver Spring alliums, so I'm going to dot them out there. I've got some huge ones as well. I've got a large white one, so I'm not sure if I'll do that one. What else have I got? I've got these summer drummers. So many to choose from. I mean, this is just a drop in the ocean of what's in the polytunnel. So the main ones I want to get here is the giant alliums. Now these are absolutely huge globes that I want to be in the middle of the fig and olive plot, and this will be the perfect bed for that because it's right in the center of the plot. So I think I've got 4 or 5 of them, but I'll put 4 in here. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stagger them. This is the good thing about putting them in pots, is that you know that they've definitely sprouted for one, and then you won't be having gaps later on. So this is a summer drummer, Christophe, a cherry allium. Now these I'm just basically just dotting them anywhere now. Now I want to plant them quite densely, so I have got quite a few. I've got this one called His Excellence. So many alliums. You know what, it feels so good to know that these are going in now. And honestly, I'm running out of space in there, especially with the problems I'm having with mice and rats at the moment. Look at that, perfect. Now plant them the same depth as you did in the pot. Now what I will probably do is I probably will put a mulch of bark on the top of here as well, just so that weed seed don't blow into here and start sprouting everywhere. That's the last thing I want in here. I want this to be a nice clean bed. Oh yes, this is definitely ready to go out, this one. Now you need to make sure you plant these quite deep because they need a bit of stability as well. So I think I'm going to go down further with this one, because this is the large, really heavy one, so I don't want them snapping in the wind. There we go. Let's hope the mice and rats leave these alone, I tell you. So if you've planted any in autumn, allium wise, let me know in the comments, because obviously I've got quite a lot here, but I'd love to add more to the collection. So let me know in the comments. How amazing will all these be in summer? There'll be like a big firework explosion here. Now any gaps that I've got here now in the middle of summer, I shall pot in some bedding plants and other things I'm sure I'll buy in the garden centres before the season's out. My only worry about planting these out in this plot is the moles. Now, not only do the rats interfere with my planting, if you're a long time viewer of this channel, you'll know that the moles like to spoil the garden a little bit as well. Never mind, eh? Now the compost that was in these pots as well will feed the soil, so that's great. Whew. So I've made a bit of progress on the plot and I'm pleased with it. I'm absolutely pleased with what I've done so far. So let me show you what I've done. So I removed all the wood and all the fencing from here, so the tulips are starting to come up, so that needs to be done. I've had a good sort out here. The bark is now all in its places, ready for in between the new beds. I've decided I'm going to take these 2 beds out, move them to the other plot, and put another long bed down here, just because I want to use as much growing space as I can over here, because I've counted and I've sown too much. I counted how many beds I've got. Now if you haven't done this yet, definitely do it now. Count how many beds you got, see how many crops of each can fit in those beds. So don't just think, oh, we'll put the beetroot over there, and then you sow 300 beetroot. Well, are they really going to fit in that bed? Because you could only fit maybe 20 beetroot in there. So that's what I've been doing. So normally my trays, I do 15 of each brassica, and then the bed only takes 10, so the 5s sounds like a waste, but I always hand them on to other people as well. So, and I've already got Johnny, one of the other plot holders, have said that he'll take over some of those crops, so that's fine. Plus I always try and pick the 10 best ones out of the 15. But I've counted, and the amount of growing spaces that I've got doesn't tally up with the amount of crops that I'm growing this year. So I'm making sure I'm using as much space over here as I can. So yeah, so these 2 are coming out, so I can use a full long bed across here, 14 foot long, rather than losing 3 foot or so here. I've taken off all the junk off here now as well. All the plastic's been put into bags ready to go to the tip. Then I've moved all the wood. I've been digging and digging and digging. I mean, also before we go down, look at all the daffodils now coming up. This is also a pink currant as well that Nano and Grinch gave me last year, and I didn't plant it out because I knew the fruit cage hadn't been built yet, but I brought this over. It's been protected outside my garden, so that's a pink currant. These are, like I said, now they're looking, this is a nice area. This is looking okay. Started again, the bean canes out. Yeah, I'm getting a bit excited about putting all the structures up. I've dug and dug and dug down here, honestly. Now this is probably, I'd say 8 foot wide and 14 foot long. Now I've dug every single inch of this 2 foot down to get out the bindweed, and I tell you what, I've still got all this to do here. All the hoops have been out because I've been measuring whether or not I need to have 3 foot or 4 foot wide beds on here. But I mean, the weeds, honestly, look at all the raspberry canes that are still in this plot. There's honestly hundreds and hundreds, but I mean, the bindweed is ridiculous. So yeah, I've been digging and digging and digging, but yes, we've got a couple more hours left. I have got to try and prune this tree a bit back as well, because it's starting to come into bloom, and there's a few overhanging branches over the greenhouse which I don't want, and I need to make sure I get them done. So that's a job for today as well. But yes, also I've just called to the supermarket as well because I wanted to grab some lunch, and I found some rooted lettuces. Now I spoke to Kerry from Dog in the Plot and a few others, and they were like, yes, we've heard about these for years. Well, maybe my supermarkets aren't as posh as hers, but I tell you, I've never seen a lettuce in the supermarket with the roots on. So it's new to Wales, I'm sure, but who knows. But anyway, so I bought some of those. I'll show you those now. They look great. They were the oak leaf green, and then another variety, and then also the Lola Rossa, which is a nightmare again for me sowing. And yes, I decided I bought 2 packs. I can't remember much of it. I'll pop the picture on the screen now. And I know that people will probably be like, why have you bought lettuces for when you've got some growing already? Well, I've got some spaces in the polytunnel in the front, in the middle bed, and I thought if I split them up, because they're quite small plants, I can keep picking the leaves off them for the next 6 weeks until my other lettuces, which are looking absolutely amazing, I'm so pleased with them this year, until they're ready to harvest. These will carry on growing where I can pick off the outer leaves and keep going, so I'll have nice fresh lettuces. And I mean, I think there was like £1 something a lettuce, but there was a pack of 3. And they were quite miniature, so if you've got those in your supermarkets, split them up, pop them in the bed, and then just keep picking the leaves off, and then you'll have lettuces before your other lettuce is done. Speaking of lettuces, the little gems have germinated. Hallelujah, they are looking fantastic. So yes, let's go inside the polytunnel and I'll show you all the millions of jobs and all the things I've been doing in the last couple of hours, but I'm tired. I am tired. So I ordered some more strawberries because I've got an idea for these. These are Cambridge favourite. They are a good variety, honestly, good croppers. These are the lettuces I was telling you about. So you've got the Lolla Rossa, the Lolla Biondo, and also oak leaf lettuce, which is my favourite one. And as you can see, they're only tiny little lettuces, so I'm going to take these out, plant them in the bed in a bit, and yeah, so we should get some lettuces in about a week or two's time where I can carry on picking out the outer leaves rather than just chopping them up and putting them into salad. So they are a little bit of an investment. I've also planted up an iris, Siberica. This will go about 70 centimetres. So normally when I start potting up things that I've bought in little bags from the garden centre, like so. These are the gladioli. They need to be planted up now as well. So I've got quite a few of those to do. But these ones have been done. I always put a height so that when I plant this out later on, I haven't got to go and look for this packaging again to try and find out how tall it'll grow. I know then how to plant them in the bed. So that's a little tip there. Pop the height of the plant, and there's 2 in there, so they should look good. All the cabbages are looking fantastic. I mean, look how much sowing I've done. I mean, these are loads and loads now. But the Musselburgh leeks have come up. The giant Bulgarian leeks, they're starting to show their little heads now as well. And look, the little gems. So they have finally surfaced. I did sow them on the top with a tiny little bit of compost on the top, and they have come true. I've also got best of all swede. Now I'll leave them now for another couple of days. Now I'm going to do a video on how to sow and grow swede, because I'm getting loads of comments about how I can grow swede and how they have suffered and they have failed many times. So I'm going to do a video on that for you all. Also the Romanescos are looking good. I've got a couple of what's this one? Oh, that's the Calabrese. So yes, we got them. It's growing as well. But everything's looking good now. There's quite a lot sown here. I've also brought up all my potatoes as well. Now these are some extra Charlottes. They're not the biggest, but they'll be all right. They'll be okay in some buckets. Pink fir apples, the Nicola, the Caras, Jemson second earlies, and also my Maris Pipers are over here. So yes, everything's looking okay. So yeah, the tunnel's a bit messy. I've had a good tidy up, but it's gone crazy again because I'm pulling everything out and trying to sort everything ready in their jobs. There's loads of jobs to do. This is what I'm saying. March and April are bonkers months for growing, but I'm excited for what's coming next. The garden now is starting to get dug over. I'm hoping to dig over the remainder of this today and the job's done, but it's quite a bit to do. And I put all the fencing sure ready as well. All the other stuff is all tucked around the back there, ready for future jobs. This shed is starting now. I'm going to clear out underneath there, and then I'm going to pop some things in there for storage for a week or two. I think we got some rain due. And then this shed then should become my ultimate shed that I've always wanted to build. And all the skills that I've gained over the years, and also while on allotments where I've built potting sheds before, and I've built doors, and I've had some lovely sheds, but this one I want to turn into an absolute beast of a shed, with nice glass doors on the front, and I don't know whether it's going to be more of a potting shed on the one side, and also a nice seating area on the other side as well, with all glass doors on the front. So stay tuned for those videos, because I'm looking forward to building that. I don't know if I'm going to do it over a couple of videos or over one video. I haven't decided yet, but it's taking shape now, isn't it? So myself and a few other YouTubers have all been sent these Prunarbo secateurs as well. Now these are going to be absolutely perfect for what I need to do at the back of the plot. I have got, I'm not even telling you, like a 20 to 25, 30 foot tree at the back of the new plot, and it overshadows the greenhouse, and I've been wondering how am I going to get to it, because most of it is on another plot, so I can't actually stand on their plot because they've got buildings and structure there as well. How was I going to get to that greenhouse and cut them up there as well? Well, this is perfect. So if you have problems with like arthritis, or actually clipping onto and grabbing those pruners, these are going to be perfect for you. These are called Prunarbo. So these can cut up to a 50mm branch as well. So they're going to be perfect for the trees I've got. And all you do is just close and open, close and open. So we're going to try it now on the trees behind. Now the best thing about this as well is that you can use it handheld, and it's not that heavy, to be honest. It also comes with two 4000 mAh batteries, so it comes with two of those. I had it with the extendable model. I think this comes separately, so not only does it already go about 4 foot, it can actually be telescopic, and you can actually open this up, rotate it as well, which is great. So it means I can get around awkward angles. So all you do is connect the battery to the one end like so, turn it round, pop it back onto the other end, and now you can use it now as an extendable secateurs. Now you can also choose the actual depth that you want this to open as well by using the trigger. There you go. So that goes now to 4, 5. So there is different variations as well, but this is gonna be perfect now because I'm gonna make it. Where's that gonna be tall enough? Let's go big or go home, eh? So I've just measured this now, and this now actually extends to about 10 to 11 foot. Give it a little bit of a tighten up. Let's cut some branches. So as you can see, these branches are up way high. So all you do is just extend it up. Now it does come with a harness as well. We'll pop that there. Job done. This is amazing. Honestly, this has problem solved me so much. This is absolutely amazing, and I mean, it's cutting them like butter, honestly. Absolutely perfect. It also comes with a second blade, it also comes with a sharpening stone and some oil, and also all the tools as well to adjust it. But it also comes with, like I mentioned, with a harness, so it can actually hold most of the weight on your back. I think this is going to be perfect for cutting those branches down, and also the ones at the back of the fig and olive plot as well. So I'll pop a link in the description for Prunarbo. Go over, take a look. These are absolutely fantastic. So far, so good. So I'm going to keep trying them now. That has saved me climbing up a ladder, and also trying to find a way of going as well, because I've got all uneven surfaces here. And this is even perfect if you need to try and get over like a garage, over an outer building as well, to try and cut some of the branches down. But it cuts them like butter. So yeah, I'm very impressed with them. So these would definitely be staying in my toolkit for the foreseeable future. So I thought I'd try something different this year, and you would think I've already tried this before, but I haven't. I'm actually going to grow some peas in gutter, and you're probably thinking, loads of gardeners are in there, hundreds of gardeners, you know, it's been done over and over again, but I'm going to try some Monge 2s in there, only because I've had a bit of a mice issue. I think they'd be perfect because I've got some space up the top in the rafters of the polytunnel. I'm going to be doing the Carubi de Moussan. These, I've done these last year. They go about 150 centimeters tall, about 5 feet. They are beautiful Monge 2 style peas. They're sweet, and they are one of my favorites. And the difference is they have these lovely purpley reddish flowers on them, and they're just beautiful. I just think it'd be a nice structure on one of the plots, and I'm going to do a lot of these. Now the pods are quite flat. They're perfect in things like salads, but you can also steam them as well, or roast them. But these are absolutely beautiful. So if you're thinking of doing a Monge 2 year where you eat the whole pod and the pea inside, these are a good one to try. Now they're a bit of a snow pea. They're also known as Carubi de Moussan snow pea. But I'm going to be sowing a lot of these. I got quite a lot in this pack, probably about 200. And I'm going to densely sow them all across here now, and hopefully then we'll have a good flurry here, and I'll try later on in the season to tip it out into the garden. Now the idea with the guttering is that you grow it in gutter, leave it up high, water it. Now I am going to get some ends for this guttering, or put some duct tape on the end as well, just to keep some of the water in. But the idea is that you put peas all the way across, like so. There we go. And then I'll just firmly push them down, cover them with a bit more compost, and then give them a good water. But like I said, I'll probably cover the ends up with a bit of duct tape as well, just to keep everything in check. And hopefully in a few weeks time we'll have some nice shooter and I can just run the guttering out. The idea is you take off one of the ends, give it a good water, and then you tilt it, and hopefully it slides out without disturbing a lot of the roots. And then you already dig the trench ready for this, and you just run out the guttering across. I'm hopeful for this. It's worth a try. I mean, it's a good way of sowing them if you haven't got much storage as well. I mean, this, you know, is a good 5 foot long, and I'm just going to pop it up inside the roof of the polytunnel just to keep the rodents off it. So be mindful if you're going to do this method that you don't want any mice or rats or anything coming in and taking out all your peas. So fingers crossed. So I managed to find some polystyrene sort of packaging, and I've managed to cut them to size. I just drew a little Sharpie on the edge of the guttering, pushed it up against it, and then obviously it left the markings of the pen. Cut that out quickly then with a little saw, and I've screwed them on, so they're just, you know, temporary on there just to hold the water and the compost and the peas in. I'm going to give it a good watering now. Now make sure this doesn't dry out, and these should be ready in a few weeks time. You can plant them out, net them over if you want to stop the birds from pecking at them, and hopefully late spring we should have a pile of mongoose to harvest, eat fresh, or you can even store them by popping them, give them a little rinse and pop them in a sandwich bag, and they're perfect for using later on in autumn and winter for some nice meals. There we go, another job done. Now I'll pop these up here out of the way. There you go, job done. So if you haven't sown any flowers, now's around about the time when you want to start them off. I've done marigolds, cosmos. Now marigolds will be one of my little trio in the polytunnel. They really do companion well with tomatoes and basil, so I'll be planting out my basil, which is looking fantastic. I've already sown that. It's germinated well on a heat mat, and as soon as it germinated, I took it off the heat mat straight away. Because the thing is, if you leave them on those heat mats, it gets too warm, they think it's spring, they start shooting up, you get leggy basil, or other flowers as well, and other plants, and then just take them straight off. You know, you want that heat mat just to germinate those seeds, that's all you want it for. And then take them off, and off you go. So I'm gonna bring them over here once it starts getting warmer, probably May, but for now they'll start being potted on, put into little pots onto the windowsill, keeping them nice and warm, giving them lots of sunlight. And you know, if I need to, I'll put them onto a grow light, but for now, basil, marigolds and tomatoes, they'll all be planted together in the polytunnel together. I mean, basil and tomatoes at the end of the season, oh, it's just the best thing. And obviously the marigolds then are used because of the scent, because then it detracts pests, and they look lovely in the polytunnel. I'm going to be doing a mixture of yellows, oranges, reds, and also like a stripy one called dandy stripe. So have a look at those marigold selections, and also any extra plants you've got in, pop them outside as well, and they're good. You know, marigolds is a good one because, you know, it stops all the pests, and also they look nice as well, don't they? So dotting a few of them around all your beds, lovely. So it's definitely time to get most of these out in the garden now. Now, they were supposed to be planted out in autumn, but I've started to see that some of the crocuses and things that are in these pots are starting to flower in there because they're loving the heat, they're obviously loving the protection in here. So they definitely need to start going outside because I really do need the space now. I mean, people think that having a 20 foot by 12 foot polytunnel is a fantastic luxury. Yes, it is, but it soon fills up as well, you know. This is kind of like the engine of the plot and of the garden, so it won't be long before while having to pot up all of these as well, and then this will be full of little module trays and all ready to be filled in all those little gaps out in those nice beds. So I've had a bit of a sort out. Now I've decided I'm going to put all the brassicas on the one side, like I said, and all the flowers on this side, but I've decided I'm going to take a gamble and put all the alliums back down here now, and I think it's looking really good. The potatoes are all here as well, they're all stacked up. I mean, they're chitting away really well. I have noticed though in one of the baskets there's a little bit of a mice nibble, so yeah, I'm hoping now that they're going to leave them alone. All the alliums now, I mean, they're looking amazing, aren't they? They're going to be planted out in the next couple of days. They've had their time in the polytunnel. And my onions from seed, now I've left them in a cloche under here. These are the Exhibition and the Elsa Craig. Now they're looking fab, aren't they? They're not bulked up much yet, but under a cloche, they're doing really well in here. All the shallots now are here, like I've shown you. But yes, I've also cloched over the Zabroon shallots. So hopefully they'll start bulking up as well. And yeah, it's about time we planted some of this up. Now my next task is to find homes for all those. Now I need to decide where I'm going to be planting all the alliums and still ensure that I've got a lot of growing space for all the vegetables that I'm growing this year. I'm Danny and this is Grow Up.